On the recommendation of top U.S. health officials giving out the single-dose Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, it's been put on pause, and that includes here in Massachusetts. Thanks for joining us, everyone, on this Tuesday. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer. This comes as a review of 6 cases of blood clots are now being conducted. We do have team coverage for you this evening. Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis is standing by with what this means for homebound residents relying on the vaccine. But first, Audrey Russo joins us live in Springfield with more on what investigators will consider in the coming days. Audrey?
I spoke with a local microbiologist who says it shouldn't be assumed that the vaccine is the cause of those 6 serious blood clotting cases. In fact, she said there are a number of factors that those looking into this need to consider, and that's the big question.
It is so rare that the incidence is somewhere between 5 and 10 people per million.
Of the more than 6.8 million people who have received the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine in the U.S., there have only been 6 cases of women nationwide reporting a serious blood clotting disorder. Based on the incidence numbers from UMass microbiologist Erica Hamilton,
that's actually lower than the general rate of this happening anyway.
Still, the Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are recommending a pause on administering the vaccine, so these 6 cases can be studied further. So far, officials said the cases have come from women between the ages of 18 and 48.
So premenopausal women, and they all had a low platelet count.
The clots, which in one case proved deadly, were reported within 2 weeks of receiving the vaccine. Hamilton tells Western Mass News several factors need to be investigated.
There is also a question of use of oral birth control, which does, if you've ever been on oral birth control, you know that it does increase your chances of blood clots.
She says other lifestyle and health factors will likely also be compared to see if the women have anything else in common besides just getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. But still, people are calling the Western Mass News Vaccine Authority hotline with concerns.
I have heart and lung disease, so I'm kind of worried about it.
Federal health officials say people who got the 1-dose vaccine within the last 3 weeks should monitor for severe headaches, leg and abdominal pain, and shortness of breath. They say to contact your healthcare provider if you experience these symptoms. For others, the canceled shot clinics across the Commonwealth are slowing the rate of vaccination. Hamilton says of all 3 vaccines, however, Johnson & Johnson is the most stable.
It lasts for several months in the refrigerator.
State health officials say that as far as they know, none of those 6 cases were linked to Massachusetts. Federal health officials are saying that they believe this pause on giving out the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will only last for a few days. Live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Audrey, thanks for that live report. Our team coverage continues now with the impact of this vaccination pause on the state's efforts to get shots to those who can't leave their homes.
Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis joins us live in Springfield after speaking with a woman who was scheduled to get her shot today. Leon?
Chris, Jordan, Carolyn Grudy turns 86 years young next month. She's been homebound for 5 years. Her Johnson & Johnson shot got canceled today, but she's not letting that stop her from getting the vaccine.
I will get it.
Okay.
Yes, I have a friend right here. It's called my telephone. And I know how to dial. I know how to get calls into the governor's office, the mayor of Springfield, you name it, and I'll call them.
Springfield resident Carolyn Grudy is determined to get a COVID-19 vaccine. She was set up to get a Johnson & Johnson shot on Tuesday, but then she heard about the J&J pause.
And I got a little concerned about it, and I made a few phone calls, and then I found out that it had been canceled.
She had scheduled her appointment through the state's special program to administer Johnson & Johnson shots to homebound people. So J&J was her only choice.
They said that's all the state is allowing right now, or it's a contract or something. I didn't feel satisfied with the answer, to be honest with you. But I said, well, what the heck, I'll take it. At least I'll get something.
The Commonwealth Care Alliance is the organization in Massachusetts that administers the shots to the homebound. They tell Western Mass News all appointments through Thursday have been canceled, and they say in part, "We're vigilantly evaluating options for program modifications or alternative vaccine utilization should the FDA revise its guidance on the use of the J&J vaccine." Garudi, who considers herself the queen of her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, says she is more comfortable getting the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, but all she wants is to be vaccinated.
Personally, the two seems to have worked with a lot of people and no repercussions. So at this point in time, I'd say I'd like two.
There are still many questions to be answered right now as the Johnson & Johnson vaccine distribution is on pause. Stick with Western Mass News both on air and online as this situation develops. For now, live in Springfield, Leon Purvis, Western Mass News.
Leon, thank you for that live report. The Department of Public Health releasing today's COVID-19 data. The state's positivity rate over the last 7 days sits at 2.42%, and there have been 7 new deaths due to the coronavirus. So far, more than 3 million Massachusetts residents have received 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. There are approximately 6.8 million who live in the Bay State. For a full look at the numbers, you can check out our free Western Mass News streaming app.
In Amherst, UMass officials are urging students and staff to be vaccinated as soon as possible, saying it will help them return to normal campus life. The public health director saying in part, quote, for the fall 2021 semester, we expect every member of our campus community, with only limited exceptions, to be vaccinated, greatly reducing the risk of infection for all. We will await final federal and state legal guidance on actual vaccination requirements. She goes on to say students can schedule an appointment at the UMass Amherst Public Vaccine Clinic. They can also pre-register at vaccinesignup.mass.gov or by using the VaxFinder website to book an appointment at a local pharmacy.
Well, we are seeing a lot of blooms here across the area, and this is a beautiful magnolia tree that's in full bloom in West Springfield. This coming in from the Petruski and Klein family. Thank you guys so much for sending it in. Despite the cloud cover today, we're seeing this all over the lower valley, and it is gorgeous. Current conditions, still kind of cloudy, but we're still steady at 64 degrees, so it is on the mild side. I do think we'll start to see this overcast break up a little bit as we get closer to sunset, and light breezes are staying kind of variable this evening and will eventually become almost calm later tonight. Temperatures are lower to middle 60s almost everywhere. Blandford's down to about 59, but it's a pretty decent afternoon, I would say, minus the cloud cover, unfortunately. And you can see this blanket of cloud cover, but looking back to the northeast from the direction it's coming from, there's definitely more breaks in it. So we will start to see skies turn, I would say, more partly cloudy as we go into the overnight hours. Ignore that planner. As we take a look at your bus stop forecast, I would say tomorrow morning is going to be a little chilly. Similar to this morning, will be partly cloudy with temperatures in the middle to upper 30s, but a fast warm up is on the way. And as the kiddos head home from school, upper 60s, even near 70, and then some snow. We'll take a look at your full forecast in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Janna, thanks. Western Mass News is your local sports authority. Now to a story we've been following. The UMass men's ice hockey team bringing home their first ever national championship title.
And now there's even more big news. Western Mass News reporter Kayla Burton joins us now live from our downtown studios to tell us what it is. Kayla?
Chris and Jordan, to think that there's even more exciting news really just seems unrealistic. I mean, how is that possible? But yes, I'm not lying. There is. UMass defenseman sophomore Zach Jones will be leaving UMass. But better news, he's going to the NHL. He's officially signed with the New York Rangers. A celebratory time for UMass Amherst after the Minutemen brought home their first ever national championship title, the trophy, bringing it to campus, feeling like celebrities on Sunday. Well, then today, just 2 days later, Jones signed with the New York Rangers and will forego the remaining 2 years of his college career. Jones has been selected by the Rangers in the third round, 68th overall pick of the 2019 NHL draft, and leaves UMass on a pretty high note, not only leading his team to a national title, but in his 2 years scoring 12 goals, 35 assists, and 47 points in just 61 games. Now, due to the pandemic, players will be able to get an extra year of eligibility. So what about these seniors? Will they come back? Here's head coach Greg Carville with his answer.
We're having exit meetings the next 3 days, so we're going to have these discussions. But it needed to start with what we're allowed to do. Yeah, you can have everybody back, but is the school going to give you, or is NCAA going to allow you more than 18 scholarships? No. Is the school, going to pay for those? No. So we're as normal. We only get 18 scholarships, and we've got kids that need to come in.
As you just heard, Carville says right there, he is just taking a deep breath, taking this moment in and allowing them to just enjoy their championship win, rightfully so. But congrats to Zach Jones. He will be headed out to bigger things. Live in studio, Kayla Burton, Western Mass News.
Kayla, thank you for that live report. Looks like Holyoke has a new mayor, at least for right now. Holyoke City Hall taking to Facebook today to announce the swearing in of Terry Murphy. He'll serve as mayor of the Paper City for the next 7 months. The news comes after former mayor Alex Morse stepped down last month, taking a new job as the town manager of Provincetown on the Cape. There will be a general election to fill that seat this November.